You pay your internet bill every month. Maybe to a mobile company, maybe to a home broadband provider. But here's the twist. The company you pay does not own the cables that carry your data across oceans. When you send a message to another country, stream a movie from another continent, or use AI servers overseas, your data travels through infrastructure owned by companies you've probably never thought about. So the question is, in the early days of the internet, undersea cables were owned by telecom giants. Companies like AT&T, British Telecom, Orange, Tata Communications, and China Telecom formed massive partnerships called consortiums. No single company could afford to build a cable alone. Costs could reach hundreds of millions of dollars. So they shared the bill and shared ownership. Each company would buy a percentage of the cable as capacity, like owning lanes on a highway. This system worked when the internet was mostly emails, websites, and phone calls. But then, the internet changed. Streaming exploded. Cloud computing exploded. Then AI arrived. Suddenly, companies like Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft were moving more data than entire countries. And they faced a problem. They were renting space on cables owned by telecom companies. That meant limits, congestion, and less control. So big tech did something radical. They started building and owning their own submarine cables, not just investing. Owning, Google alone has invested in dozens of subsea cables. Meta is behind massive global projects. Amazon connects its cloud data centers with private lines. Microsoft co-built high-capacity routes across the Atlantic. By the mid-2020s, big tech controlled nearly half of global undersea cable capacity. The internet's highways are now owned by the same companies that run the apps you use. But ownership isn't simple. Some cables are consortium-owned, shared between many companies. Private cables owned entirely by one tech giant. Hybrid systems, telecom plus tech companies together. Ownership doesn't mean they own the internet. It means they own capacity, the right to send massive amounts of data through that route for 20 to 25 years. Think of it like owning a permanent VIP pass on the fastest road between continents. Why does this matter? Because whoever owns the cables controls speed. Their services get priority routes. Cost, they avoid paying other providers. Resilience, they can reroute traffic instantly. Power, they become less dependent on national telecom systems. This shifts influence away from traditional telecom companies and even away from governments. For the first time in history, private tech corporations own a huge part of the infrastructure that nations depend on. It's like airlines owning the skies, or banks owning the roads. Governments are paying attention because these cables carry financial systems, military communications, emergency services, national data. Some countries now classify subsea cables as critical national infrastructure, like power grids. Navies patrol cable routes. Security laws are changing. Some nations are pushing for sovereign cables they can fully control. The ocean floor is becoming a new geopolitical frontier. Not for oil, for data. You don't see these cables. You don't vote for the companies that own them. You don't even know when you're using them. But every second, your life runs through infrastructure owned by a mix of telecom giants, tech corporations, and international alliances. The internet feels wireless, but power still belongs to those who own the wires under the sea. If this surprised you, subscribe, because the world isn't just changing on land. The real future is being built in the deep.